Today we have the Jonah Mungoshi sitting in for Coach Tefadzwa. Coach Tefadzwa is absent today, and in his place we have Jonah Mungoshi. Jonah is a multi-award-winning motivational speaker and success coach. Hey Jonah, good morning.
Good morning, V Candy. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you live in studio.
It's awesome to be here. And as I was saying to you, whilst the music was playing, I really appreciate the fact that you're always positive. Every single day I hear you on radio.
Wow.
You have this positivity with you. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I was saying the same thing, that you also carry this aura around you where you're lively, you're happy, and, you know, it rubs off people.
Yeah, happiness is a choice. I make a choice when I wake up that I'm going to be happy, and I carry that throughout the day. So today I'd like to talk about essential skills.
Yes, let's get into it.
Yeah, so the starting point, Vikandi, is what would you say are the major challenges that are afflicting our young people today here in Zim? Just give me 1, 2, 3 that you can think of.
I think peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Leading to them engaging in different things to ensure that they also catch up with what other peers are doing. Drug abuse, that is, your shisha, your vaping, you know, just different things, abusing drugs. And for the young girls, you know, getting blessers because they want to keep up. They want, you know, the latest gadgets to keep up. So, yes.
So it's kind of an attack on our values.
Yes.
And it is manifested through many things. But we, like old timers like me, I mean, I'm 54 going on 55. We get worried about the future of the nation when you find that a significant number of young people are abusing substances, whether it be alcohol or drugs, have got this hopelessness and really are not pursuing a purposeful contribution to society. So there's been a convergence of thinking among many who are in the education world about what the education system offers and what it is failing to offer. So as a result of this, there's been a convergence of thinking where the minds have come together. Ndingangoti vanhu vari kubva kwakasiyana siyana vane mafungiro anoda kuenderana maererano nezvinodikanwa kuti vechidiki vedu vange vachibudirira muzuva ranhasi. So what I want to share with you, listener, and I'm particularly talking here to teenagers, parents of teenagers, I'm talking to schools, primary schools and preschool owners and teachers and administrators. There are 8 skills that most organizations have now zeroed in on and say these skills are critical for young people in today's world. So whether you're talking of the United Nations, whether you're talking of the British Council or different organizations, and they call these by different names. So in some circles, these are called essential skills. In other circles, they're called critical skills. In other circles, they're called 21st century skills. And for me, as a practitioner of these skills, I found that they really offer an institutional answer to some of the problems we're facing today. I have shared on radio and in different platforms what I think you can do as a parent in the home with your child. But if that is not complemented by a systematic institutional process, the results we get are limited. So these 8 skills are listening, speaking, problem solving, creativity, staying positive, aiming high, leadership, and teamwork. So let me just highlight what are the implications of mastering these skills. And by the way, the model that I'm talking about here is called the Skills Builder model. And they have a lot of free resources that are available online. If you are able to get online and Google, just use some of that money you've been using for pointless WhatsApp discussions and following up on Makuas, and get some data and make sure you access Skills Builder, especially if you're a parent concerned about your child's future in these challenging times. So if I zero in on some of them, let's say staying positive. When you resort to substance abuse, you're trying to feel a certain way. It's almost trying to escape reality, whatever you're facing. So this is normally associated with being negative, with experiencing negative emotions, and you're trying to get that high, whether it's from alcohol or from drugs, etc. So if you learn the principles of staying positive, you learn the tips, the tricks, the techniques, and then this becomes something you're practicing daily, and it becomes part and parcel of who you are. You are less likely to succumb to the pressures of peer pressure, etc. Because you're staying positive. And when you're staying positive, you're more likely to also have positive ideas, pursue noble ideals, and be purposeful in your life. So, as you can see, this might sound simplistic, but they are actually, each of these modules I've spoken about, each of these essential skills, according to the model we're using, which is the Skills Builder model, they are divided into 16 lessons from step 0 right up to step 16. And they can be taken by anyone from the age of 3 years old right up to adulthood.
Oh, from the age of 3. Oh, wow.
Yes, from the age of 3. So we've actually been pilot testing these. We've been running these with, if I mention the name of a school, would that be considered advertising? Okay, a couple of schools.
Okay.
Let's be safe, right? I don't want to get an invoice as I walk out of here. So we've been pilot testing these with a couple of schools, and the results have been amazing. One of them is a high school, the other one's a primary school. But that's staying positive. If I look at another one, problem solving. Now, sometimes people are at the end of their tether because they have a problem, and they can't logically figure out how best to respond to that problem or to address that problem. So if you learn the concepts of problem solving, there are simple things to start off with, like brainstorming, right? How many primary school or secondary school children are aware that when you've got a problem, you're more likely to get a rich solution if you start by just dumping your brain on paper and say, I could do this, I could do this, I could do, coming up with as many options as you can without judging them, without selecting them. And then later on going through that and then trying to see which ones are practical, which ones are pragmatic, and what does it take. So when you train your mind to think systematically, the process of problem solving can actually be systematized, can actually remove the emotions from problem solving. Because going back to that issue of substance abuse, sometimes people who are faced with problems that they feel they've absolutely no way of dealing with, and then they seek to escape by getting high or something like that. So these are practical skills that the school curricula in many places are not yet addressing. And hence, when you augment that, when you complement what is already children are learning in school, you know, like they learn the foundational skills, literacy and numeracy, and then as adults they start learning the technical skills. If you're going to be a carpenter, you learn carpentry. If you're going to be an engineer, you learn engineering. If you complement these with the essential skills, then you get a more well-rounded human being who's likely to be a better citizen wherever he or she might be. And and I was thinking what we can actually do to the listeners is that I have got a document that provides support for parents and carers. And this we can offer to the listeners free of charge.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jonah.
So it summarizes how you as a parent can work with your child and help them develop these skills. And if you'd like to get this document, you need to send your name via WhatsApp to Coach Tafi, 0773 606 728. Let me repeat that, 0773 606 728. And you'll get a free copy of a document that gives you tips on how to support your children or those that are under your care in developing these essential skills. Let me pause at this point. You got a question or comment?
No, it's fine. You can go ahead. And I just wanted to jump in as well and say, for a number of adults, they don't even also know how to handle the pressure, like the brainstorming skill that you're introducing us to. Because you can also actually write different solutions on paper and see what outlet you can use when when your back is against the wall and you're facing, the pressure that life sometimes, is giving. So very, very important even for adults.
And you know what? If something has never been introduced to you, it's not an option you would consider. So supposing you grew up in a household where whenever there was disagreement, people would shout, would insult each other, and issues would never get resolved. So when you go, let's say, through the teamwork module that you've got, you now learn how to control your own emotions, emotional intelligence. If that has never been taught to you, it's not an option. You don't even know it. But when you learn this, then it's an aha moment. And it's another tool that is in your toolbox. It's another weapon in your arsenal for working well with people and for engaging well with others. So what we're doing is we are really giving people options of engaging. And as somebody, when someone considers it logically, you'll find that when you apply the principles we are sharing through the essential skills, you become a better human being for other people, but also for yourself. It's what I call enlightened self-interest. So some of the things, the thing is, this model has been done. They call it a universal model, in that you can apply it and adapt it to any age, starting at age 3. So listening, for example, one effective method that will get you to listen better is to confirm what you've had. So if you're talking to me, V Candy, and you say something, and I'm like, okay, V Candy, give me a moment. Let me repeat what I've just heard. Confirm if what I heard is correct. That's amazing. That is a deep skill of listening, because as long as I am going to confirm with you, 1, I don't walk out of there having a wrong impression, having misunderstood you. 2, you feel listened to, and that's equally important in communication. And 3, it stops me from thinking of what I'm going to say to oppose you before I've even heard what you've said.
Yeah, true.
So one of the principles I live by is that seek first to understand before you're understood. And without listening, there ain't no way you're going to understand people before you try to be understood.
Yeah, people listen to respond and not to understand.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So let me talk about speaking. That's one of the skills that is also included here. If you look at it, even in the corporate world, even here at Star FM where you work, if you are not able to speak well, it's unlikely that you will climb the corporate ladder to the level that reaches your potential. The inability to speak well and to communicate well verbally will hold you back in your progress. So no matter where you want to go, it is of utmost importance that you learn to communicate well. And if God has gifted you with a voice, then you need to learn how to speak well. How do you structure what you're going to say? How do you have an intro, a body, and a conclusion? I know, speaking to you who gets paid to speak, I'm preaching to the converted or to the choir. But there are many people who would love to learn this skill. And if we start young and we emphasize this skill, definitely that skill will be a great asset to whichever child we are teaching the skill to.
So true.
And one other thing, one of the major challenges we are facing is that Zim has got, a growing informal sector when it comes to people getting employed and getting a job, etc. And there's a great demand for entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship is about creativity. It's about finding new solutions to our problems and implementing them profitably. That's what entrepreneurship is. And so when you go through the creativity module that we have, what it does is it releases and develops that innate capacity that you have using your imagination productively. Because when you do that, you're now able to look at issues from different perspectives. You're now able to come up with different ideas and see how best you can apply them, and then judge those ideas and see for yourself what can work, what cannot work, and also have the confidence to try out things. So creativity is of critical importance in this current scenario where we are in, because it empowers you with imagination, it empowers you with innovation to be able to go into entrepreneurship, etc., etc.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jonah. You can still squeeze in 1 or 2.
All right. One of the ones we've got is leadership.
Yes.
And on the leadership module, we've been pilot testing it with one of the schools I mentioned. It starts by telling you about understanding your emotions, which I thought was crazy, because most leadership just tells you that as a leader, you should lay the law, you should have a vision. It starts by telling you emotional intelligence. And when you think about it, most leaders lack this, and as a result, their success is limited. So if you can manage your emotions, if you can understand other people's emotions, if you can work with other people, then you become a significantly more powerful leader. So that was just interesting on the leadership module.
Wow, Jonah, thank you so much for your time. Essential skills. I hope you've taken them down. Your number, the number that people can reach, you gave Coach Tafazo's number, right?
Definitely. Please reach Coach Tafi if you want the free document we're sending, and his number is 0773 606 728.
Thank you so much, Jonah. It has been teenzim.com right here on the Morning Galaxy on Star FM. Taking our time to 11 o'clock. It is time for the news.